It is ever the wish of children to go on fantastical adventures, taking mundane, everyday items and imbuing them with special powers through sheer, unfiltered imagination. When I was a kid, we had a creek running down the back of a nearby property that we would routinely go to and play in, imagining monsters lurking in the shrubbery and pretending we were powerful wizards defending a tree we'd named Merlin. And listen, Merlin was sacred. You do not disrespect Merlin. It's that boundless creativity, that complete lack of self-consciousness, that I often reflect on and miss from my childhood. It's also why, when I play a game, I couldn't care less how old the characters are. I want to join them on their journey of self-discovery. I want to feel their joys and sorrows as they do, in the moment, for the first time. Perhaps I'm too much of an empath, but I digress. Today's game is Grandia, a JRPG originally developed by Game Arts for the Sega Saturn and released exclusively in Japan in 1997. It later made its way to the Sony PlayStation between 1999 and 2000 via Sony Computer Entertainment and Ubisoft. For the purposes of this review, I played the PS1 version. Yes, the one with frame rate issues and loading times long enough to allow you to reflect on the bygone days of your youth. We join Justin and Sue, two childhood friends from the port town of Parm, who are desperately running around trying to gather sacred items before sundown. Otherwise, Sue has to kiss the leader of a rival gang. Yuck! Honestly, the stakes in childhood conflicts are wild. Forget saving the world. Who wants to marry the boy who lives on the north side of the river? Justin is a curious, bright-eyed kid who wants nothing more than to live up to his father's legacy as a great adventurer. He is, however, allergic to caution and constantly gets himself into trouble, such as being beaten up for rifling through someone's junk, or hit over the head with his mother's serving tray when he does something goofy. No wonder he has no brain cells left. Sue, meanwhile, dreams of becoming a beautiful and sophisticated lady, speaking as though she's 8 going on 21. Together, the two are a surprisingly charming duo, and a perfect lens through which to experience Grandia's world, an awesome platform to launch yourself from. And that world? It's on the cusp of an industrial revolution. Steam engines are cropping up everywhere, technological marvels are shifting daily life, and new continents and ruins are being discovered at a rate that keeps the adventurous society's pockets filled with cash. In Grandia's universe, adventurers aren't just thrill seekers. They're a necessity. They're archaeologists, trailblazers, explorers, and occasionally chaos gremlins. Justin fits right in. Well, he would have, had it have been 10 years prior. Our real adventure begins when Justin retrieves a mysterious stone he'd loaned to the curator of the local museum. One mishap with the giant statue later, and the pair are racing off to the Dom ruins before anyone can confiscate their letter of introduction. Naturally, the Garlisle Forces, a military organisation with the collective attitude of a wet paper towel, and that sand rash you get inside your knickers from trekking across the desert, immediately tear this up upon seeing it possessed by children. Undeterred, Justin and Sue sneak inside, where the stone reacts and opens the way to an ancient inner sanctum. There, they meet Liette, a mysterious figure who tells Justin to seek the lost city of Alent, far to the east. That one conversation sets the course for the entire journey. Justin decides, unequivocally, that he will become a real adventurer, just like his father. Whilst the Messina continent is relatively small, once Justin heads east across the ocean, he discovers Alencia and the frontier town of New Parm, home to the Adventurers Society. On his voyage across the sea, he meets one of its members and assists in solving the mystery of a ghost ship that puts the passenger liner at risk. Despite his enthusiasm for the profession, the adventurer known as Fina is a little less than impressed, and he finds he is constantly trying to prove himself to her. Though they start off on the wrong foot, Fina eventually becomes a special figure to Justin and acts as his foil. Where Justin is impulsive and endlessly optimistic, Fina is capable, measured, and experienced. She knows the dangers of the world, but Justin reminds her of why she started adventuring in the first place, especially when we realise the true nature of the Adventurers Society. The contrast between Justin and Fina makes their chemistry work beautifully, and it develops throughout the narrative. This idea of contrast expands to other party members too. Milda is a foil to Rap, balancing hot-headed impulsiveness with warmth and overwhelming enthusiasm. Different personalities across the adventure clash and complement each other as they enter and leave the party, especially during the dinner scenes scattered across the game. These shared meals give us an insight into the party dynamics and make the world feel lived in. It's honestly disappointing that this system drops off later in the game because it's such a charming way to see the characters bounce off or irritate one another. Of course, the heart and soul of any adventure is exploration, and Grandia delivers this in abundance. Fields, mountains, mines, forests, ancient Angelo ruins, every area begs to be poked at, prodded, and turned inside out. The rotatable camera isn't just a technical feature, but serves as a tool to enhance your experience. Secrets hide behind every rock, path, and stray pixel, and the game encourages that childhood curiosity of, what if I walk over there? Or let's run amok in someone's house. In fact, running helter-skelter through someone's home will result in objects rocking back and forth or falling over, which occurs in abundance in the early parts of the game, but patters off toward the end as Justin and his party mature and grow and lose some of their childhood innocence. The world building further supports the need to be curious, with ancient ruins begging to be explored, to discover what remains of an era once proud and enlightened. Walking across the various areas of the world, you'll be remiss not to notice the garbage scattered about the landscape, though I suppose one person's trash could be Justin's treasure. I mean, our introduction to him certainly lends weight to this theory. Cash, curatives, equipment. If you have a keen eye, you'll recognise that glow and make a beeline for it, sometimes to your own detriment. You can't be a hoarder though, as each character has 12 item slots, which reduces if you have less party members. And by that I mean, if you have 2 party members you have 24 slots, but if you only have 1 you have 12, so you must be careful. I understand that this system is similar to what Luna had, where Game Arts also developed Luna, but it can become limiting and frustrating, especially in some of the bonus dungeons that like to throw a ton of equipment at you and laugh in your face because you need to make a difficult decision about what to throw away. And once you do discard something, it's gone for good, so make these decisions carefully. If you do manage to make it back to town with most of your inventory intact, you can use the stashing place to store any items that you don't want on your immediate person. But you can't use these items in the field, meaning that you'll end up playing an endless game of inventory management should you wish to keep everything you find and then want to use them later. Combat, meanwhile, is one of the game's standout features. The initiative bar blends turn-based strategy with real-time decision-making. It's all about timing. When to attack, when to aim to cancel an enemy's move, when to defend or reposition, and how to use abilities that a character may not yet quite be efficient in effectively. Grandia isn't really turn-based. It's more accurate to call it turn-scheduled. And that schedule becomes absolute chaos when you start poking enemies with moves that delay, cancel, or interrupt their turn, because they can do the same thing to you. The skill system also adds depth. Weapons and spells level up through using them. Hit things with the sword, you get better at it. Fling enough fire magic, and you'll be able to turn battlefields to ash. Too bad being hit over the head enough times with his mother's serving tray doesn't improve Justin's intelligence, though admittedly, he can be quite stubborn, and this may explain why. Leveling weapons and magic grant permanent stat boosts and unlock new abilities, which is great until you realise that grinding these out can suck the joy right out of your soul and make the last boss an absolute cakewalk. Pacing can also be an issue depending on how you play. If you're the type of player that needs to talk to every NPC and has a moral obligation to kill every single enemy on the map, hi, that's me, then the game can feel slow. For me, the excitement of the game didn't really kick in until a little into the second disc, when the narrative stakes rise, the locomotive plot starts chugging, and Justin's coming-of-age journey shifts from naive curiosity to real leadership and a determination to save those that he loves. Though admittedly, this is not my first playthrough of the game. Ultimately, the true secret of Grandia is that it's a coming-of-age story at its heart, disguised as a globe-trotting adventure. Justin doesn't grow because destiny demands it. He grows because people believe in him. Through every hardship the party faces, his team members push him, challenge him, and constantly remind him of the person he wants to be. Grandia's visuals sit in that magical, awkward, wonderful late 90s space where developers were experimenting with 3D tech while still desperately clawing at the remnants of 2D artistry. The result? A hybrid style that actually works quite well. The environments use 3D geometry that, yes, look dated by modern standards, but the pre-rendered textures, warm colour palette, and atmosphere give each location a distinct personality. Towns feel busy and lived in, without ever looking cluttered. Forests and ruins carry an earthy sense of mystery that makes exploring them inherently rewarding. Where the game truly shines though, is in its character sprites. The expressive, hand-drawn 2D sprites laid over the 3D backdrops give the game an almost storybook quality. Characters animate with exaggerated charm, something we didn't quite get with contemporaries such as Final Fantasy 7 through 9, which went with consistent 3D. Faces light up, slump, pout, flail, and celebrate with an energy that lends weight to the narrative. The animations during battle are especially delightful. Watching characters dash across the field and deliver their attack with gusto never fails to amuse me, especially where Sue or Guido are involved. Musically, this game is a dream, and we have Noriyuki Iwadare to thank for this. The tracks don't attempt to be cinematic or overbearing, but rather play out as background noise complementing whatever it is that you are doing. This is particularly prevalent in the way the tracks are used in different ways, either by removing individual layers of the track and then layering them back together the closer you get to a town, or using parts of a track on repeated loops, and rarely dropping the full track into your lap. The music just complements the act of an adventure. I mean, do you really want an obnoxious, uplifting song blaring as you're running through an ancient ruin that has not been stepped in for years? I didn't think so. Of all the tracks, my favourite is called Village of Ruku, which plays in Luk Village. The woodblock with the haunting synth sounds that leads into light bass with an accompanying woodwind instrument speaks of the sacredness of the beliefs of the people Luk have. The melody tells us of their reluctance to step outside the bounds of the misty forest, and the fact that they are hidden away from the outside world, untouched by the advancements of society. It absolutely hits the mark, and is still a track I return to, even to this day. When I look back on my time with Grandia, what stands out to me isn't just the battles, the exploration, or the lore. What stays with me is the feeling the game rekindled, that spark of childhood imagination that we all once had. The kind that lets us turn sticks into swords, creek beds into dangerous swampland, and an old tree into a sacred oak named Merlin that must be protected at all costs. Grandia doesn't just tell a story about adventure, it reminds you why adventure stories matter. Not because they are epic or dramatic, or filled with twists, but because they reconnect us with a part of ourselves that saw the world with curiosity instead of cynicism. Through Justin, we are reminded that growing up doesn't have to mean growing jaded. It can mean choosing to care, to believe in something, and pushing forward even when you're scared or uncertain. The game isn't perfect, and you take out of it what you put in, but few games capture the essence of pure, heartfelt adventure the way this one does. If you've ever longed to rediscover that sense of wonder you had as a kid, then Grandia is a journey worth taking, even today. Especially today. Because sometimes, all we really need is a reminder of the children that we once were. By the way, Grandia is a game that I came across when I was in high school, and it served me a lot of entertainment in a time of struggling with adolescence. Are there any games you used to escape from reality as a kid? Let me know in the comments. This has been Venoir with a review of Grandia for the Sony PlayStation. If you liked my video, please like and subscribe for more great JRPG content. Thanks for watching, I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves, and bye bye for now.